Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought what better way to start my YouTube channel than to recreate the video that you guys made go viral on TikTok and Instagram, which is this one right here. And all of you that recreated it, I am so grateful for. The fact that that video got over 25 million views is still mind-blowing to me. Today, I'm going to do an in-depth tutorial on how to recreate that complete makeup. So if you want to learn how I created this glam, then keep on watching. Zoom you guys right in here. So the first step that I did, which I didn't film for this tutorial, was gelling my eyebrows. So I always use a hair wax and I gel my eyebrows up and out just like this, and I like it quite straight. Next, I'm grabbing my concealer and we're going to carve our brows. So I'm using our concealer in shade number 1 because I do want this part to be quite highlighted and bright. I like to carve it so close to the brows look so much cleaner. I leave a gap here and I go straight across. I love using a very straight brush to make sure it's as defined as possible. From the top, we'll go straight across. And connecting it on the ends like this. Brows are probably one of the most important steps for me when it comes to any makeup. If you do your brows too dark, then your brows just stand out against your whole makeup and you don't look at the makeup as a full. And if you do them too light, then they're kind of lost in the whole makeup look. I'm gonna add some concealer in the middle as well. With the same concealer, we're putting concealer in the middle of forehead as well. And then we're gonna put it all over our lid. So we're doing the same steps I did in that video. Bridge of the nose, cupid's bow, chin, and then doing it under our eyes now and on the other side. At this point it's going to look really messy because we haven't blended anything, and because we're only going in with base products all over our face, it kind of just looks like we have no idea what we're doing, but trust me, it comes together. Carving under our cheekbone contour, bringing it down a little bit, and then the other side like that. Let's move on to cream contour. Cream contour on forehead, cheekbones, jawline, sides of nose. We use our cream contour stick in number 11. So we're gonna do our forehead first. So just grabbing a brush and grabbing the product. Do contour on the forehead, go around the whole perimeter. Just gonna work under my hair, just here. And then we're gonna do our cheekbones. So from the top of your ear down towards the corner of your lip. That's the way I like to best describe it. For my face shape, everyone has different preferences, so when you contour, make sure you're doing it in the way that you like your face to be shaped. So from the top of my ear down to the corner of my lip and bringing it up a little bit to kind of join it. And then we're going to do our jawline. So this part I find is the most self-explanatory. Like, it looks crazy, but when you're watching it, it's quite easy to follow because step by step, and I'm showing you where to place it on your face. I think the most complicated bit that everyone found a little bit harder to follow was the blending process. And I guess it was harder to trust. And also when you're blending, there's so many ways you could either overblend or underblend. And that's where I think you're gonna benefit most from this detailed tutorial. I'm also gonna do the nose contour, so using the same contour product. And I'm just gonna go down the sides of my nose like this. And under my nose. And I also put cream contour in my crease to warm up and define my eyes. Okay, now this is where we start to blend. Now you have to keep in mind, if you've watched the full tutorial, I blend all this as my under base without any foundation. And then once it's blended and a lot more softer on my face, I add that little bit of foundation over the top. That's more closer to my skin tone, and then that makes it look a little bit more seamless. So first we're gonna blend, and all we need for this step is a flat foundation brush. Any brand will work as long as it's flat and dense. If you have really, really dry skin, I highly recommend you spray some setting spray or a hydrating mist before you start blending. So just keep in mind, when you're dabbing your forehead, you wanna make sure you're not ruining the shape of your brows that you've created with the carve. So we're dabbing. The eyes, I use like a fluffy brush just so I don't get my eyebrows. So I'm just using a clean fluffy brush to blend all this in. Just mimicking the movement that I will do when I apply any bronzer in my eyeshadow or like a transition color. Just lightly sweeping back and forth. And again, not going too close to the brows. Just dabbing in the nose contour like this. And again, when we're dabbing, we're not using too much pressure to the point where we're completely getting rid of that contour color as well. Now blending in under my eyes. I like to look up to minimize my fine lines or creases. Just lightly again, doesn't have to be too close to under eye as well. You just want to lightly blend that in to make sure it's nice and smooth. Next is our cheekbone. So we're working from top to bottom of our face. So we're just softening all the areas that we've already put makeup on. Now for this step, we're going to grab our favorite foundation. I'm using a mix between HUDA BEAUTY and NARS Sheer Glow. You're going to lightly dot, so especially right under your cheekbones because that's where we use less makeup, and then everywhere else you're going to just slightly dot a few over that like this. So for the areas that already have the contour, over those areas you want to use lighter pressure so it doesn't completely blend out everything that we've worked on. But in the areas where there's not much makeup, you can use harsher pressure to make sure it's really blended into the skin. So we're going to blend just in the section where there's not much makeup, which is in between our cheekbone and jawline, to make sure we have the coverage. And then we're lightly sweeping where our jawline is. So we're not completely getting rid of that contour. Now we're going to work on our cheek area with our contour on our cheekbones, very lightly dabbing. Looking up, we're going over our concealer as well. See how you can still see the contour? Now when I get to that section, I'm going to use such light pressure, like it literally feels like a feather. Just so we're blending, but it's not completely getting rid of that contour. One thing I didn't specify in the video is when I do right under my eyes, I do like to go in with a beauty blender and look up just to make sure it's blended so seamlessly. I'm going to use our cream blush stick in number 2. So on the apples of our cheek and up. With number 5 as well, to add a little bit more color to it. Next step is filling in my eyebrows, and for that I'm going to use just a flat brush with a dark brown eyeshadow. Just the bottom section here. Mix the Huda Beauty and the LAURA MERCIER powder for today. So grab the powder and put it on the back of my hand like this. Look up and then lightly dab under my eyes. Define under my cheekbone contour just like that. So brown eyeshadow just in the crease. Like little circular motions back and forth, and with a big fluffy brush because there's not really any detail to this. It's more so to warm up the whole lid and to not make it look too light in contrast to the rest of my face. With a flat brush and any nude eyeshadow, you can even use like a face powder or an eyeshadow. So we're just dabbing that all over the lid. I'm not using any concealer on the base of the eyeshadow. We want it to look just quite effortless. This is from the Makeup by Ariel brush collection. We're going to use a dark brown color. So we're bringing it out here and get more of a straight outlook. Time I do eyeliner on myself or others, I always keep the eyes open so we can see exactly the direction that the wing is going to go. For lashes, I want to use my Snatched 5.0 lashes, which are the Foxy style. Next step is to bring the bronziness back to the face. So we're going to do powder bronzer first. I go over my normal cream contour areas, but then with whatever's left over on the brush, I slightly dust over all the sections just to make sure it's not too much of a contrast to the rest of my face. Now we're going to add powder blush. Mixing a few of my new powder blushes, which aren't out yet, but this is like my baby pink glowy bridal vibes. Bit on my nose. I'm gonna add a bit of mascara just so my lashes pop a little bit more from the front. For lip liner, I'm gonna go with shade Mahogany from MAC. I like to overline my lower lip. Let's go back in with my flat concealer brush and carve out my lip. That's kind of the shape. I'll just go over with my blush that I used on my cheeks. Grab a bit and I just dab it. So this is the number 5. In the video, I didn't add highlighter, so we're not going to add highlighter in this tutorial. But this is the finished look. I'm going to zoom it out so you can see it a little bit more. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. And if you have any questions relating to any of the steps, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.